Hello everyone, welcome to my virtual presentation. Today I will be talking about the problems with the rehab industry, which you may or may not know is a $35 billion industry. Today I will be covering the substandard care many rehab facilities provide, the business aspect of the rehab industry, and the effects these issues have on society. First, I will begin by discussing the substandard care. The 12-step plan, which was originally used by Alcoholics Anonymous self-help groups, has become one of the top treatment methods in many rehab facilities. In a very broad sense, the 12-step plan focuses on reevaluating one's actions, deconstructing one's life, and finally rebuilding it bit by bit. Recent studies have indicated that there are several issues with the 12-step program. Due to AA obviously being anonymous, there is a lack of evidence supporting that the 12-step plan actually works. According to Lance Dodds, an addiction expert and Harvard Medical School graduate, the 12-step plan is estimated to help only around 5 to 10% of people. Although 10% is better than 0%, it doesn't mean that this should become a standard for treatment. Another issue lies in the fact that the program does not address underlying mental illnesses, which are often hidden by substance abuse. Lastly, although the 12-step plan has been modified from using the term God to using the term higher power, many of the steps still heavily rely on one's ability to become spiritual in one way or another. In addition to many treatment facilities lacking an evidence-based care system, rehabs also have a very low standard for addiction treatment counselors. What I mean by this is, unlike most professions in the healthcare field, there is no standard exam to pass to become a substance abuse disorder counselor. In addition, there is no federal standard to uphold, which means it is up to the state to decide who can become a substance abuse disorder counselor. This has resulted in only 6 states requiring substance abuse counselors to have a bachelor's degree and only one requiring a master's degree. Furthermore, what's even more shocking is that 14 states have no requirements at all. This means you don't even need a general education degree to become a substance abuse disorder counselor. The final aspect of subpar treatment is that many facilities advertise a one-and-done 30-day treatment. The problem with this is that those suffering from a severe addiction require months or even years of treatment. 30 days just simply is not enough. Despite assuring sobriety, many rehab facilities have been known to release patients after 30 days, recovered or not. This results in a term coined the Florida Shuffle, which refers to how rehab facilities rely on patients relapsing and coming back for more treatment. This is not only sickening, but it shows that rehab facilities are more focused on making money off their patients than bettering their lives. Next, I will be talking about the business aspect of rehab facilities. Due to there being almost no federal, state, or municipal oversight of treatment pricing, the cost of rehab is through the roof. It is estimated that a standard 30-day treatment costs around $15,000 to $26,000. If you're looking for a more upscale rehab facility, they're estimated to charge around $50,000. And high-end rehab facilities, which celebrities often opt to use, charge over 6 figures. To me, that's a high price to pay just for wanting to be able to live. Although in recent years insurance has come to cover some of the cost of treatment, underlying issues still remain. Treatment services have been discovered. It has been discovered that treatment services regarding addiction are 10 times more likely to be excluded from insurance plans than any other medical service. Furthermore, in 2008, 314,000 Americans wanted and needed treatment, but were unable to afford it because their insurance plans did not cover it. Many insurance plans will also often push patients to travel far from home to cheaper rehab facilities like ones in Florida. In addition, facilities have been reported to charge insurance companies $20,000 per month for urine tests of a single patient. Because of this, urine has been coined with the term liquid gold. Another troubling aspect is that the success rates advertised by rehab facilities are often skewed. To measure their success rates, rehab facilities will call their past patients and ask them if they've remained sober. The problem with this is that there is no control over their responses. People could either be lying about their sobriety, or the people who actually pick up the phones are the ones who have remained sober. In addition, rehab facilities have been known to lie. For example, the owner of Cliffside Rehab Facility has made not only one, but two rehab review websites dedicated to rating the rehab facility 5 stars. Let that sink in for a minute. Lastly, I will be discussing the effects the issues within the rehab industry have on society. The most obvious effect of the money-hungry industry is the pain it causes for the patients themselves. So many people can't even begin to imagine affording treatment for something that can result in death. Patients who go through numerous treatments and still struggle to remain clean feel as if there's no hope in ever becoming sober. They regard their failure as a personal failure. For many patients, giving up hope and giving up the battle against addiction, like I said before, often leads to death. The issue not only affects the patient, but it also affects the families of the patient. Many families will give tremendous amounts of money, which they may or may not have, in order to save a loved one's life. This can result in throwing away money just to watch your loved one become a victim of the Florida Shuffle, which I previously described as a cycle of patients relapsing and coming back to treatment facilities for more care. A less obvious effect these issues have is emphasizing the stigma addiction already has. They do this by dehumanizing and taking advantage of those suffering from addiction. The stigma of addiction causes the neglect of promising treatments and public health policies. For example, opioid replacement therapies and psychedelic-assisted therapies remain illegal, despite the scientific evidence behind their successes. Lastly, I leave you with this. Any substantive conversation about treatment in this country must reckon with the toll levied when a culture encourages one approach to the exclusion of all others, especially when that culture limits the treatment options for suffering people, ignores advances in understanding addiction, and excludes and even shames the great majority of people who fail in the sanctioned approach. This is a quote by Lance Dodds, and I felt as if it really summarized the point of my presentation